Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining in today on a Top Producer webinar. This is Spencer, your host, with Top Producer's Customer Success Team. So this is going to be getting started with Top Producer X. I'm glad to have you here. Maybe you've been a long-term Top Producer customer and you're just getting into TPX, or maybe you're brand new to Top Producer altogether. Excellent to have you here. Happy to see you took the initiative to learn more and get on board with some best practices in order to get started with your Top Producer CRM. So that being said, if you guys can hear me all right, please feel free to reach out in the chat section. And at the same time, feel free to let us know where you're coming from today. Where you do real estate at, how long you've been with Top Producer for, any other details you feel like sharing, be more than happy to hear from everyone. So that being said, just going to cover some administrative items here. So this is getting started with Top Producer X, once again hosted by myself. And I'll be joined by my colleague Marvin, and he's one of our research technicians. So he'll be our chat guru for today, providing some extra insight and additional resource links to go along with what we're talking about. As I said, you can definitely join in and comment. It's an interactive show. If you're not sure how, all you have to do is log in with the Google account to YouTube, and that's going to let you join in the live chat today. And maybe after the show, if you need any help, there are plenty of ways to reach out here. You can use the live chat support to get in touch with our customer care department. It's in the bottom right corner of your Top Producer CRM or any of our products for that matter. You can also reach out by phone at 1-800-830-8300. Both those first two options are available Monday to Friday from 7:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. in Pacific Standard Time. And finally, you can also email our help desk at support@topproducer.com. So just before we begin, just want to reiterate, this is getting started with Top Producer X. This is a general setup, kind of best practices to get started show. Point people in the right direction and how to get started, provide some additional resources and things like that. So unfortunately, it cannot be customized to any person watching per se. But if you have any questions, any comments, or like additional help, please reach out. We can definitely speak to that and also get you in touch with someone else at a later time. So that being said, this is the game plan for today. We're going to be going over Top Producer X's settings, raising some awareness for what should be set up first in order to get the most out of your brand new Top Producer X CRM. Then finally, we'll go over ways to build your contact database, whether that would be with importing from a spreadsheet or using our contact sync feature, or maybe both. After that, we'll go over the follow-up coach, its usage in cleaning up your database as well as following up with your contacts at the same time. And then we'll finish off with some help and support resources and, just to reiterate the ways to go over to contact our support team. So this is our first point today, creating a solid foundation for success with TPX by learning about vital settings first. So everything from email integration to texting to MLS credentials, you're going to want to know how to set this up in order to get the maximum return on investment from your Top Producer X and the maximum benefit for your business. So let's jump right into Top Producer X here. So this is the login screen for TPX. If you have not yet logged in, the URL is crm.topproducer.com. If you're a brand new subscriber, you should have received an email, like an order confirmation, allowing you to get in with login credentials and a link to the CRM. If you're having any issues with that at all, though, please contact our customer care team and we can definitely get you on track with getting logged in and set up. That being said, if you are a Top Producer 8i user, which is the older version of Top Producer, if you're logged into that currently, all you have to do is actually hit the TPX button at the top of the screen here, and that's going to allow you to get logged right into TPX. But okay, we're going to assume that you are able to get logged in, and we're just going to go ahead and sign in now. So this is the main screen for Top Producer X, the contacts page. Obviously, being a real estate CRM and a CRM in general, people are everything. And so they're going to be first and foremost here, right in the forefront. So right off the bat, you'll notice at the top here, there's these different tabs. And I have mine customized just to, test out different things and play around with it a bit. But every Top Producer CRM will start with the 5 main contact status tabs. So these are as follows. There's new, which is for brand new leads and contacts, people that you have not reached out to yet and need to jump on as soon as possible. After that, there is engage, which signifies someone that you followed up with. As soon as you follow up with that new lead, they're now considered engage. So followed up with, but not yet qualified to be your client. After that, we have future, which is, one of the natural progressions of engage. Maybe it's a colder lead, someone that's not really willing to buy or sell right now, but you definitely want to stay in touch with them for that long-term opportunity. Of course, if you do convert them to being your active client, there is the active tab for that. And then finally, closed, the moneymaker status, signifying that these are now past clients and closed deals. So that's the basics of your business pipeline in Top Producer X. So we're going to come back to that a little bit later. For now, what we're going to do is actually focus on the settings, give you a run through of what's important to set up first to get the most out of your CRM. So that being said, we're going to go down to the settings button in the bottom left corner. And right off the bat, you'll be greeted with the My Information page. So this is where you can, modify your CRM sort of internal profile. If you're a brand new user, don't stress about this too much. You can always come back here anytime and edit this information, such as your address, your email address, things like that, phone numbers. If you are also a Top Producer Pro subscriber, which includes our Market Snapshot add-on, you will want to make more of a point to work on this sooner than later because it will affect the branding of your Market Snapshot reports. If you want to go in and edit this, just click Edit My Info at the bottom here. This is going to allow you to change everything from the display name in the CRM to your business address, phone numbers, emails, website, social media links, etc. Down here, you can change the color theme of your Market Snapshot reports. And it's important to set the correct time zone here too. So I would say check the time zone, check your agent email to make sure it's the correct one you'd want to use to recover your account if you forget your password. And maybe make sure your mobile phone number is correct too, because that's going to actually be pulled in for some email templates as well, using our built-in email integration. So that being said, one piece of advice, I would recommend actually filling out the text fields first, and then coming back after saving, and then trying to adjust the pictures here. Because, some users do run into issues uploading pictures. They get an error. You wouldn't want that to sort of sabotage all the other work you've done filling out the fields here. So I'd recommend filling out the text fields first, then saving, then coming back and uploading the photos one by one, just in case there's anything wrong with those photos. Maybe they're too big. You'll get an error. They would just need to be resized down to a more manageable size first before uploading to TPX. So if you need any help with that, you can always reach out to our customer care team. We can definitely give you a hand. That being said, we're going to go down a couple steps here to the fourth option, which is import contacts. So importing contacts, this is one area you can come to import from a CSV spreadsheet file. If you're not sure what a CSV file is, it's just a very common cross-platform spreadsheet file. You can make it on Windows computer with Excel. You can make it on a Mac computer with the Numbers program. Either way, works just fine. So a couple examples of sources of a CSV spreadsheet file might be your MLS, maybe another CRM platform you're coming from, Realtor.com, etc. These are all examples of sources for a contact spreadsheet that you can import into Top Producer. So that being said, we are going to come back to this later, but we're just going to really quickly touch on the contact sync. And contact sync is another way to bring your contacts in. This allows you to link up to a email address that contains contacts such as a Google account, a Microsoft Outlook account, or even Apple iCloud. So this one will actually bring in contacts automatically and synchronize them with your Top Producer and keep them up to date across both platforms. It will bring in all contacts, so it's something that should be used carefully and should be thought about whether or not that's a good solution for you. It will actually check for duplicates in your database to do its best to make sure that it doesn't pull in the same person, if there is some crossover there between your existing Top Producer database. So we're going to come back to these two features later, so just stay tuned to learn more about importing contacts and building your database. We're going to focus on that in its own time just in just a little bit. So for now, we're going to go down to email integration because this is one of the biggest features in Top Producer X. I highly recommend setting this up as soon as possible because it's going to allow you to take advantage of your existing business email for use in Top Producer X. So all your previous correspondence with your clients, your leads, all those email conversations and correspondence are going to show up in their Top Producer X contact records automatically, past and future. Doesn't make a difference whether you view it in your email platform or in TPX, because TPX will act as an email client linking up to your actual email service. So great feature. You can actually send emails right out of the CRM as well. And you can even use our built-in templates to make your follow-up process a little bit more streamlined and quicker. So that being said, to get started with email integration, you just fill out your business email in the box here and click authorize. So in this example here, I'm going to go ahead and use a Google account. If you use Google, it is a very easy integration. If you use other services, still should be fairly easy, unless maybe you have like a brokerage provided email that has very specific server and security settings. Then you might need to talk to your system administrator. Might need to talk to your manager, someone that has that information available, and work with us at our customer care team a little bit in order to get that on track. But we are very well versed in troubleshooting these kind of issues and making sure that everyone has access to email integration. So just please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you need any help. So I'm going to go ahead and click authorize email. And since it's a Google email, as I said, I'll be greeted with this usual sign into Google through Google's official login portal here. So you actually just go ahead and click on the email here if you have more than one. It's going to ask you for some permissions, such as reading and writing your emails, but not deleting anything. So it is a very safe integration. You don't need to worry about that. You would just go ahead and click allow, and I believe there would be one more step to follow. And if you use Google, that's all you need to do to integrate your email. So I'm actually going to go back here because I have mine already integrated. But if you follow those steps and everything's working just fine, it should say status running. If it does, that indicates that you are good to go with email integration. You can start taking advantage of this feature right away. So that being said, we're going to move down to email signatures next. So once you set up your integrated email address, you now have access to modifying the signature for those emails. So as you can see, you can actually integrate more than one email. So anything that you use for your real estate business might be worth integrating here. So at least get your main email in here that you use for correspondence between your leads and clients and things like that. But if you can think of any other uses for this, please feel free to integrate it. No problem, it supports more than one. But that being said, you will need to come in here and configure your signature. So you'll see right here, this one says has signature no. You just go ahead and click on that. And then you would copy and paste your existing email signature in here, or you could work on it from scratch if you needed to. If there's any differences between the formatting of your email signature, let's say in Gmail, to how the signature editor handles it here, it may require just a little bit of tweaking to get it to look accurate. But if you need any help with that, you can, once again, you can always reach out, use the live chat support in the bottom right corner of your CRM, give us a call. Either way, we'd be happy to help you. And as you can see here, there's plenty of options for editing the signature and working on it. So you can definitely customize it and tweak it to your liking. So you'll see it would look something like this when it's set up. And you would just go ahead and click Save Signature. So that being said, we're going to move down next to Google Calendar Sync. So the Google Calendar Sync option is for our Google users currently only. That being said, if you use Outlook Calendar or Apple Calendar, just a little bit longer, we are looking to expand this feature. So we'll soon enough change into just a general calendar sync feature. So I apologize for any inconvenience caused right now, but like I said, this is just an extra. Everyone should technically be logging into their Top Producer CRM every single day to make the most of this custom tailored environment for follow-up and for real estate, contact database management. That being said, having your, appointments and everything synchronized to your Google Calendar or other external calendar to be able to view on your phone is a huge asset. So we understand the need for that. So like I said, if you don't use Google, please stay tuned just a little bit longer. For our Google users, however, that would like to integrate this, I do recommend holding off on this integration just for now. And the reason I say that is because you'll want to import from a spreadsheet first your contacts, if you have any. You want to also then set up the contact sync after that to make sure any duplications don't happen. And then finally, after you're done setting up your database, you'll then want to authorize the Google Sync. And the reason for this is a technical interaction. If you activate the Google Calendar Sync, as a safeguard, it does actually hide the contact sync because they are related from a technical standpoint. There is a sort of a safeguard there. So that being said, I highly recommend getting your contacts in from spreadsheet first, using the contact sync after you're done with your spreadsheet imports, and then finally activating the Google Calendar sync. That's the safest way to set it up and the most thorough way to set it up. So that's my tip for you on that. So that being said, if you want to activate Google Sync, you just click Authorize Google Sync. You follow the steps as you normally would for Google. And my phone just went off there because I said Google. So I'm going to go down next to lead providers. We're going to talk about that. So lead providers. Lots of you probably pay for online leads and want to make the most of every single lead you get because you want to get your money's worth. And the CRM environment, we all know, is going to help you make the most of those leads. But what if you can get your leads right into the CRM directly? Well, that's what this is for. So you will have your very own myleads.io lead parsing address here. Every CRM has their own unique one. This is what it uses to capture leads. So all you have to do is point your online lead sources towards this notification address, or this lead parsing address, I should say. And those leads will be pushed into your CRM automatically. They'll come in under the new status tab, signifying that they're a brand new lead that needs to be followed up with. And it's a very convenient way to get all your leads pointed towards your top producer CRM, custom-made, real estate CRM environment that's going to make it easier to handle these leads. So that being said, there is a list of all the lead providers we officially support. You just click on this link right here. This is going to open up a window on our Top Producer Campus or Tips and Support page. You can scroll through here and see what is supported. And another example of something you can forward to this in most cases is a website contact form. So if you have a form on your website that allows you to capture leads, feel free to go into the configuration for that form or talk to your webmaster or whoever is in charge of that website and get it to forward to this myleads.io address in addition to your email address. So you still get that email notification that you're used to, but you also get the benefit of having that lead inquiry pushed right into your CRM for instant management. So that being said, please don't hesitate to reach out if you need any help using this. We can help you, guide you to set up your lead sources with Top Producer and help configure that properly for you. So I'll just put our customer care information up there just in case you need to reach out. And we'll carry on here. So the next step down is Market Snapshot. So Market Snapshot is actually one of our add-ons. It's part of our Top Producer Pro bundle, and it's a huge asset. It's essentially almost like a hybrid of a drip campaign, a CMA, and it's going to allow you to send out tons of value to all sorts of contacts, whether they're brand new leads browsing for properties, or maybe it's a past client that you want to provide with their home's value every quarter of a year or something like that. Either way, great way to stay top of mind with these people. Great way to advertise yourself, market yourself, and it's a great conversation starter no matter what. And the best way to use it actually is with personal follow-up. And thankfully, Top Producer X makes that super easy. So this is where you would configure the Market Snapshot settings if you are a Market Snapshot subscriber. These are the global settings for it. If you're brand new, I recommend just leaving them all as is with the green check marks checked. That's perfectly fine. You'll find that there's lots of things about these snapshot reports that you can actually modify on the fly as you're sending them to a specific person. So you don't need to worry about these settings too much. That being said, if you come back later, you learn more, and you do want to modify these, just make sure you're hitting Save Market Snapshot Settings at the bottom here. So I'm actually just going to take a pause from the settings and show everyone what a Market Snapshot looks like. Maybe you're brand new to it and you haven't actually seen it in action yet, or maybe you don't have Market Snapshot but you are interested. Just let me show you what this looks like here. So I am going to go ahead and let's try this one. So this is an example of a Market Snapshot report. You'll notice there was a different view. I clicked on the map there. It switched to this overhead view. Here's all these different properties in the zip code 98105 in Washington. And this is on the Northwest MLS, just as an example. So people can come in here, they can zoom in. Let's say they were interested in a property, near this trail here. Well, just to avoid the clutter, let's actually get rid of the sold ones here. And let's get rid of the expired cancels, for example. You'll see this narrows it down, it unclutters it, and allows your recipient to focus on exactly what they want to see. So they see this new for sale one here, they click on it, maybe they like this area. it's going to actually highlight it on the right side of the screen here. They can go ahead and click on this to find out more. So after this loads, this is going to provide tons of images from the MLS. As you would expect, it's going to provide all the property details here. Full property details on the right side here. And you'll also get schools nearby if you have a family there with you, and neighborhood amenities via Yelp. So the great thing about this is that your branding is everywhere. It's all about your recipient, the properties at hand, and yourself marketing as their go-to expert. They might not know who to go with as a realtor if they're a new lead. This is helping to cement you, I should say, as their go-to agent for looking for a house. So you'll notice in the top left, it's got my picture, it's got my phone number, it's got logo, it's got links to contact you everywhere. Contact your agent now at the bottom. And people nowadays like to go on like Instagram and things like that and like things. They click double click or hit the heart icon. Well, same thing with Market Snapshot. There is a heart right up here that they can click on in the top sort of middle rightish area. And that's going to notify you instantly via email that they've liked this property. So they may not have sent you a direct lead inquiry, but you get some insight into what they're looking for. So you can start using that for your follow-up. That being said, in the bottom right corner, there is a direct inquiry form. So it says, I was viewing my market snapshot and would like to know more about this property. It has the address and the MLS ID number for your convenience there. So as you can see, thorough report, easy for the recipient to use. They can sort it. They can change some aspects of the report themselves, such as the main zip code, some of the price ranges, home type, and how often they receive the report. And you can also change this for them too. So this is something that you can work together with your recipient to get the right results. And you showing that involvement with them is helping to build that relationship with a potential new lead or new client, right? So, and that being said, tons of value in the report itself. So I cover more of the stuff in my Thursday webinar if you'd like to learn more. We go over some market snapshot best practices, sending market snapshots through the follow-up coach and following up via email integration, texting, etc. So if you'd like to learn more about that, actually Marvin can link you to our market snapshot quick start video, which is a great starting point. You can contact us. You can also join me in my Thursday webinar to learn more. So that being said, we are going to jump out of market snapshot now and go back to the settings. You'll see here you can actually view all the details about this report, how many clicks, how many opens, report views. You can change listing alerts for this person here on the fly. Lots of customization, lots of reporting features. You can touch up ones that maybe didn't go through properly, or you can see who is viewing your snapshots and things like that. But that being said, we're going to go back down to the settings in the bottom left, everyone. And we're going to go to MLS credentials next. So MLS credentials, this allows you to link up TPX to your MLS board. Couple big reasons why you'd want to do that. One, you will have the ability to use a feature called Property Insights, which if you work with buyers, you know how important it is to keep track of all the different properties someone's inquired about, that you've shown someone, and keeping track of all the details, what this person thinks about the property, so on and so forth. Maybe you can start to see different patterns of what they're looking for, etc. So that being said, there's also transactions. You can manage your listings and closings in TPX in one consolidated feature, super easy to use, and basically keep track of your properties with Property Insights up until the point that someone makes an offer on them. Turn it into a transaction and start managing it right away. So you'll want to go in here and link up your MLS credentials just by clicking the button up here. Search for MLS board. Let's say I'm with Bright MLS. I'll just go ahead and search for Bright. It'll appear in the drop-down menu, and then I can just go ahead and click on it. Then we just enter our agent MLS ID number. Usually about like a 6, 7, or 8, I think, digit code. If you're not sure what this number is, you can reach out to our customer care team. We can help you with that. We have that information available on our side, and so we'd be more than happy to assist you in finding the right information data you need to set this up. So after filling that out, you would go ahead and click Save Credentials, and that'll take you back to the screen here where it's going to say status valid if it is indeed valid. Actually, just one moment here. Just checking the live chat, making sure my phone is actually refreshing it properly. And it looks great. Okay, so yeah, you can set up more than one MLS in here, by the way. So if you're part of multiple boards, please feel free to integrate them all. So that way you can select which board you're using when you're searching for property insights or transactions. So yeah, any assistance needed, please feel free to reach out to us. Be more than happy to help you set this up. That being said, we're going to jump down to the Task Plans Manager, talk about this briefly. It is a newer feature. It is a little bit more of an advanced feature. That being said, it is quite easy to use. Just takes a little bit of practice, a little bit of know-how. And it is a feature that's going to allow you to make your own custom tailored follow-up plans, transaction checklists, etc. Anything that you want to be able to apply to a contact or a transaction in order to be consistent. So that being said, here we have contact plans, transaction plans. You can actually go ahead and browse templates to bring up 3 pre-existing templates as a starting point. They are fairly basic plans. They're meant to be used as either maybe by a new agent that is looking for a good starting point, or maybe just as something to use as a template essentially to edit, to get your own plan going. So that being said, feel free to click on these and import them here. Once you import them, that allows you to use them in your Top Producer. So we don't want to clutter up your Top Producer with plans by default. But yeah, that being said, you do have to import them first. Just 1 second here, guys. Just need to fix something really quick. Just got word that there's something wrong with the text at the top there, and oh, I see what happened. Okay, well, I'll have to fix that after the show. Okay, that being said, we are going to, Task Plans Manager. Like I was saying, our team would be more than happy to help you, brainstorm some ideas on how to best use this feature for you and your business. So just please feel free to reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to help you with that. So that being said, going down to the last option, texting. Texting is going to allow you to send and receive text messages through your Top Producer CRM. And it's going to assign you a virtual texting number you can use. So very easy to set up. You just fill out the mobile phone number box here with your mobile phone number. Please don't use any spaces or hyphens or anything like that. Just put it all together like this. And then hit Save Texting Setup. So what will happen here is you will just hit Save Texting Setup. It's going to send you a confirmation text. You'll see up here it says check status and resend confirmation. So after you send that, check your phone. You should receive a message. Just respond with confirm and then click check status. And that should confirm it for you. You can always remove it at any time by clicking remove texting setup. That's no problem. Yeah, so like I said, after this, you're going to be able to take advantage of texting through TPX. You'll be assigned a virtual texting number, which is good for some people to separate, their actual number from business, especially if you're advertising it online. Not everyone wants their real number out there. But the main advantage is that you have more information logged in the Top Producer contact records for you to reference at any time. You can type text messages up on your keyboard, send them off, and keep a log of them in TPX. It's great for follow-up as well, obviously, because you can jump between different aspects of your contact records. Feel free to send off a market snapshot, jump with one click over to text, and send a follow-up saying, hey, I sent you this really great market report. Should be in your inbox. Take a look, and feel free to message me if you have any questions or concerns, and we can work on this together. So just a couple examples of effectively using texting and why you'd want to use it. Texting, email, follow-up, call, all assets at your disposal that you can log within Top Producer X. So, that's texting in a nutshell. And if you guys have any questions at this point, please feel free to let me know. Be more than happy to take some questions about the settings, something maybe more specific to you and your business. Feel free to reach out, can definitely answer that, or get you in touch with someone if appropriate. But that being said, if there are no comments right now, I'm just going to move on to our next point here. So we're going to talk about building your contact database, importing from a spreadsheet, or I should say using our contact sync feature. So CSV spreadsheet file, maybe Gmail service or Apple iCloud or something like that, no problem. There are ways to get those contacts in and start building your Top Producer X real estate database. So we are going to jump back into TPX now. And what we're going to do is actually, we're still in the settings. We're going to go back up to import contacts. So it should be the fourth option down. The idea here is that you just choose a file to import. You browse your computer for said file. Double click on it to import the spreadsheet. Then you'll see a couple different sections here. Now, this is a very important process, I must stress. Please do not skip through this and just import the contacts. It is an intricate process that does require some attention and care to make sure that you get the most out of it. The last thing you want is to start with a jumbled database that's going to cause you frustration, that's going to waste your time. So as long as you follow some of these best practices here, you can ensure that you get the most of this contact import. So that being said, we are actually going to go over contact status first. As I mentioned before, contact statuses are representation of your business's pipeline. So, new for new clients, engaged for people you followed up with, future for future prospects, active for active clients, closed for past deals, past clients. We also have inactive and non-client in case you cannot categorize these contacts in any of the standard ways. So my best advice here is if you are importing one spreadsheet file and you want to make the most of that and make it as easy as you can, choose the status that you think best represents the majority of the contacts in that spreadsheet. So then that way it's going to be less work for you afterwards to shift out the contacts from that status that do not belong there. So if your spreadsheet is, let's say, 90% past clients, go ahead and click closed. If your contact list is a bunch of brand new leads, feel free to import those as new or engaged, depending on if you've spoken to some of them at all. So the ideal situation, and I understand this is difficult, but just wanted to point out, technically the ideal situation would be having all your contacts split up into different spreadsheet files for their statuses, so that you could import them separately directly into the correct status for them. But that being said, most people coming into Top Producer do only have one spreadsheet to work with. No problem. Just take advantage of this to make sure that you start off the best way you can. That being said, you can also reach out to us at any time for some advice or suggestions on how to best handle that situation. That being said, after contact statuses, there are also contact types. Now, contact type is a very flexible, powerful feature in Top Producer X. It's sort of like a subcategorization, a label or folder, if you will. So some examples of common ones would be buyer, seller, and past client. So you'll see these ones have their own colors to them. That's because they are kind of built-in standard ones that you're going to use all the time. So let's say you're importing a bunch of new buyer leads. You would probably want to do new and then contact type buyer. And we'll go with that. Or if you're importing a bunch of past clients, you'd probably want to do closed and past client. Just a couple examples. You can add more than one here. So whatever you think is going to help you stay organized is the best way to use this. You can put the date there. You could label that they're from your MLS. You could label that they're your import from different CRM, etc., so on and so forth. After that, there is field mappings. So this is actually the most vital part. This is going to take what's in your spreadsheet and match it up to what's available in Top Producer. So in this example, this is actually a straight, clean example here of first name to first name, last name to last name. So admittedly, not the best example because your spreadsheet will likely look different. So what you'll have to do is a little bit of investigative work. I recommend referencing your spreadsheet at the same time. So you'll see on the left side here, it says sample. This is actually a sample from your spreadsheet. It'll show you up to the first 4 examples from a column, and it'll show you what that column is called in your spreadsheet. Excuse me. That being said, I do highly recommend still having your full spreadsheet either open in the background or maybe on a second monitor if you have more than one screen. So that way you can easily compare and reference what you're working on just to make sure. Because if you see a blank sample, you might think, oh, not map, let's skip it. But you might have information in that column that's further down than the first 4 entries in that column. So maybe the 8th person, for example, actually has that secondary phone number or something. You might want to map that. So that being said, what you will do here is go through and match these up as close as possible. So first name, in this case, to first name. Let's say it says primary first name, primary last name, secondary first name, secondary last name. You can match those up like that. So we'll pretend this was spouse first name, spouse last name for a moment. You can match that to secondary first name, secondary last name, just as an example. Email address, there's email address is the main one. There's other email. There's other emails as well. So you want to go through here and obviously import as much data as you can at once. So just match this up. You might see like home phone or something on your spreadsheet. Chances are that might just be their primary phone number. In that case, I'd recommend maybe linking it up to mobile phone, because I would say the majority of people's primary phones are probably going to be their cell phone. So feel free to link that up. So after reviewing all this, there is also a contact type. So you notice that we have the contact type area here, which applies it to the whole spreadsheet. But if you already have a column in your spreadsheet that you think could be used as a contact type, so like maybe you have a like seller, buyer, past client, a lead, hot lead, etc. Feel free to actually link that up to the contact type field mapping. Just please note that you can only use this once per import, so choose wisely. If you have a section in your spreadsheet that's a column for notes for that contact, or maybe some other vital information that you want to bring in that doesn't necessarily have its own area in Top Producer, feel free to add to contact notes, this one right here. And that's going to put it into the notes section as part of the import per contact. So that being said, after reviewing the contact status, contact types in your field mappings multiple times, and please don't worry if this process takes you 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes perhaps. It's definitely worth it to get yourself to get everything sorted here and make sure that you're on track. But after you've ensured that, you've verified that 2 or 3 times, go down to import contacts and you can start that import process. But like I said, anytime you need our help, please reach out. We can walk you through this. We could do a screen share with you. We can offer our best practices and suggestions on the fly and help you make the most of this import. That being said, after importing contacts, you will be brought back to the import contact screen where it should say in progress. And don't worry if it says 0 contacts, just click check status every once in a while. And that's going to show you the full amount when it's done. So like I said, don't worry if it says 0, give it a few seconds, give it a few minutes if it's a lot of contacts. If you're importing like 500 contacts, you probably want to give it a couple minutes at least, and then click check status. Yeah, so that's the basics of importing from a spreadsheet, which I always recommend doing first. But next we're going to talk about contact sync. So the contact sync feature allows you to, like I said, link up to an email with contacts in it, such as a Gmail, Apple, iCloud, Outlook, etc. So you can just actually go ahead and fill in that email here and follow the steps. So for example, this is an Exchange account here. I would just enter my Exchange password or my Microsoft password and click sign in. And that's going to bring me back to the contact sync page here. And it's going to say sync is running in the background, keeping your account up to date. So sync will start instantly. It'll bring in all of your contacts from that email service. It'll do its best to cross-reference what's in your database already by phone number, name, email address. And if there's enough matches, it will not synchronize that contact again, just to avoid duplicates. So just keep in mind, importing from a spreadsheet, there is no duplication checking. Importing from contact sync, there is duplication checking. Hence why I recommend import from spreadsheet first, contact sync second, after you've done importing one or more spreadsheet files. That being said, you can disable the sync at any time with this trash can icon, which I'm actually just going to go ahead and do now. But if you leave it on, it will keep those contacts up to date in essentially real time. So if you have maybe a setup on your phone where as you're talking to people, you're entering them on your Android phone, it's adding it to your Google contacts. That will in turn, as long as you have it set to save your contacts to your Google contacts, to your Apple iCloud, to your Outlook account automatically, instead of just to your phone or SIM card, that will actually push it to Top Producer after adding that contact. So great asset to have that seamlessly, those contacts seamlessly come into your Top Producer. So 2 different ways to get your contacts in. import from spreadsheet, contact sync, both great ways, both have different uses, but when used together, you can really build your database quite easy. And just a reminder, you'll want to set up Google Calendar Sync last if doing that, just to avoid any technical issues. So that's how to start building your contact database. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Marvin and I'd be more than happy to chat with you. But if there are no questions, what I will do is actually move on to our next point here, which is using the follow-up coach to start cleaning up your database and making the most of it. So I'm going to show you this slide here really quick. So yeah, get insight into follow-up coach. I like to say it's your portal for staying focused on your database, whether it's cleanup or follow-up. The follow-up coach is going to allow you to stay hyper-focused on 5 contacts at a time as opposed to 500 perhaps. So you can start somewhere, and it has effective, quick follow-up processes and flows that are easy to follow. So it's a great backup plan. It's a great consistency plan and business model, if you will. So when used in conjunction with your own follow-up reminders, your own custom tabs and things like that, which you can join into my Thursday webinar to learn more about. Your Top Producer X CRM in total is just a very effective follow-up tool and documentation tool. So the basics is the follow-up coach, and I highly recommend everyone start there and actually use it every single day to get the most out of your time in front of your Top Producer CRM. Or maybe if you have some extra time after finishing up your tasks. So we are going to go back to TPX. We're actually going to go to the contacts page here, and let's dig in and see some really great examples from the follow-up coach. So where to find the follow-up coach? Well, it's right along the top here with your status tab. So new, engaged, future, active, closed, follow-up coach. Go ahead and click on this. You'll see here we have 5 contacts that are presented in front of us to work on. If you see 0 contacts, please don't worry. This just most likely means that you did a recent import, or maybe you haven't uploaded your database yet, and there are no contacts here yet. So if you imported from a spreadsheet or something, give it 24 hours, and that's the time that the follow-up coach needs to become active after that import, because it needs a chance to kind of go to the next day and refresh and see what it has to work with. And then after that, every single day, it should be providing you with some effective ideas and follow-up plans. So that being said, here are a couple examples. We're going to go to this one over here that's called Ventures Group. It says they're a future contact. It says schedule a follow-up to ensure imported contacts don't fall through the cracks. So what the follow-up coach is telling us right off the bat is this contact may or may not actually belong in future. It doesn't know because it was lumped in with a contact import from a spreadsheet file. So let's go ahead and see what else the follow-up coach has to offer on that suggestion. We just click right on this tile here to get started. It's going to launch the contact record for this Ventures Group contact here. And then it's going to elaborate on its original suggestion in the purple area at the top and say, update their pipeline status, contact type, and who they should be assigned to. So it's basically telling you, you should organize this contact and categorize it to tell the CRM who exactly they are and where they belong in your business. So let's do all that at once. What we'll do next is go down to the edit contact button at the bottom, the blue one. You see here you can edit all the contact details, but what we're most interested in right now is scrolling down to the bottom of this and focusing on contact status and contact types. So you'll see right here, future, long-term opportunity. Maybe this, for example, this Ventures Group one. You know what? Let's actually rename that. Let's make this a little bit more realistic. Let's name this like Mike Jones, just as an example. We'll pretend this is actually a buyer contact or something. So now we're dealing with Mike here. And maybe Mike is not actually a future contact. Maybe he is just someone that I've spoken with once or twice and I'm still trying to warm up to being my client. So let's switch him back to engage to signify that he's followed up with but not yet qualified. Then let's add a contact type search for buyer because we know he's a buyer, just pretending. And then let's say, for example, Mike is, one of my hottest leads right now. I've got a good feeling about Mike. I've been sending him market snapshot, things like that, and staying in touch with him. So I could label him as a hot leads, for example. Now, this is a custom contact type. Just an example. I know some agents like to label their contacts like this: hot leads, A leads, B, C leads, etc. Feel free to customize this and do whatever you like with it. It's your CRM, and you can customize it to your liking. So if I wanted to label him with that, I just click add, and it's going to label him with hot leads now. something that didn't exist in the database to start with, but now it does. I can make custom tabs with that. I can set custom follow-up reminders with my own specific timeframes and things like that. So very powerful, easy to use feature. So next, I'm going to go down to the bottom here. Follow-up coach also mentioned checking the assignment. So I'm going to go assign to myself. So this is if you have multiple agents on your team, you can choose who this lead is assigned to. In case you are the team leader, for example, you could have the leads flow into your top producer CRM, and then you can distribute them from there. So we're going to go ahead and click Save Contact at the bottom here. So right now it says on the top right, we switched them to Engage. We've added their contact type of buyer and hot leads in this example. So yeah, we followed the follow-up coach. Let's go ahead and mark this as done. But wait a second, the follow-up coach is primarily about follow-up, unsurprisingly. So it's asking by which method did we reach out? Well, let's take a step back here and just think about, maybe this is actually a great opportunity to follow up with Mike. He's one of my hottest leads. Maybe I haven't spoken to him in a week or a few days or something like that. So in this example here, let's get all this done at once. We've already updated Mike's contact record to Engage status, signified he's a buyer. So maybe next we pick up the phone and call Mike. And let's say we had a great conversation with Mike. And he is, appreciative that we followed up with them. And you could even be like, hey, Mike, I'm just getting on board with this new Top Producer X CRM. And what that means for you is I'm never going to forget about you. I'm always going to be there for you when you need me. And, we will be in touch in appropriate, time frames and things like that. And you can count on me to be consistent with you. And, I'm here to look out for your best interest in finding the property for you. So maybe Mike likes that proposition. And he said, you know what? I'd love to talk again tomorrow at 1 p.m. So you say, no problem, Mike. Done. I'll talk to you tomorrow. So then what you do in this wrap-up task here is, it says, by which method did you reach out? Well, we called Mike. So we're going to say it's a call. He's still engaged at this point because maybe we haven't fully converted him to being our client yet. Then we can capture additional information about this call. So you could say like, great call. Mike is interested in talking again tomorrow at 1 p.m. And then you can schedule a follow-up right here as well. So we're going to go ahead and say appointment, not call, because we actually have a specific time. So follow-up call with new lead, for example. We're going to select the date tomorrow. And we're going to set the start time to 1 p.m. So then just to recap here, just through this one suggestion by the follow-up coach, we have seen that this is a contact from an import that we should organize. So we've updated his status, we've updated his type. Next, we've been kind of reminded to actually reach out to Mike because, he's actually one of our hottest leads right now. So we're documenting that we reached out by a call. He's still engaged. We're saying it was a great call. And we're scheduling that follow-up appointment that Mike agreed to and saving this wrap-up all at once. So as you can see, a lot of work done in a very short amount of time. And that's me taking it slow to show you as an example. But you can just imagine that if you got used to this, this would be something that you could just grind through and get done, and you could blast through 5 contacts in no time and, feel good about the fact that you have made use of your CRM to effectively follow up, get some work done, and work on some leads and stay up to date with some clients. So that's kind of like the value of the follow-up coach. And like I said, there's plenty of other ways you can follow up. There's custom task plans, custom tabs, follow-up reminders, but you can always rely on the follow-up coach to be your backup or your just addition to your follow-up plans to provide extra consistency in your follow-up. So that being said, we are going back to here and we'll see Mike is now completed. Another example here maybe is Tammy Boggle. She's a closed contact. It says, don't lose touch with your closed contacts. Send a personal email now. So you could go into this record here and, we can update her record. We can go to edit contact. Scroll down once again. Let's label her as a past client. And then save the contact. So we've updated the contact type. Her status was already closed. So it says add a home anniversary as an important date so you have a good opportunity to reconnect. So that's a great idea. So then what we could do next is go to the important dates feature. And we could do add date here. And we could call it home anniversary. And then let's say I sold Tammy the home back in December 15th. What I'd want to do here is actually choose December 15th of this year. And the reason for that is because that's the next occurrence of the celebration. So you're actually setting when the reminder should be. And then it's going to repeat annually after that. So if you want to remember the actual year, feel free to type it in the title. That's what I recommend. But then set the actual date to the next upcoming occurrence of that celebration. And then feel free to save the date there. So now we have our home anniversary saved. It's got a little keychain icon next to it even. You can add birthdays in here. Same idea. You want to set it to the next occurrence of that birthday. Then put the year in the description if that is important for you to remember. Then it also originally suggested, why not follow up with an email? So using your built-in email integration, all you have to do is go to emails and then compose email. And then this editor box will pop up here. Here's an example of email templates. Just click on the 4 bracket button in the bottom right. And then you can go through here and scroll down, look through what's available. Past client check-in, general reconnect, reconnecting with the past client. This one says, "Hi Tammy, it's been far too long since we last spoke. I promise to do a better job at keeping in touch. The market's changed a lot since we worked together. I'd love to catch up and fill you in on what's going on in our local market. Let me know if and when you're available." So there's quick emails like that can help you with your follow-up. You can send it off with your email integration. And email message sent. It is now showing up in the email history between Tammy and I. It shows that Tammy has not viewed it because it's got a little red eye icon there. So this is all vital information for follow-up. If they're not opening your emails, you might want to change your follow-up plan. You might want to start texting or making phone calls instead in order to best reach them. Notify them about your email and things like that. And the same goes for Market Snapshot, as I was talking about earlier. So just a couple examples here. If you think follow-up coach is something that you're excited about, that you think is going to really help you in your business and allow you to have that business model of consistency and being there as much as possible for your leads, for your clients, making the most of every person, you're going to really impress people with this. So if this is something that excites you, would love to hear from you, I should say, in the chat about what you think about the follow-up coach and how, if you're going to incorporate it into your day-to-day. And that being said, my challenge to everyone watching right now is get into the follow-up coach every single day, whether it be for 20 minutes, half an hour in the morning, grab your coffee, go through there and try to get through those 5 contacts. And if you can get through those 5 contacts, every day, 5 days a week, that's 25 contacts followed up with, which is, I would say, a pretty respectable amount. And, if you have more time in your hands, feel free to click the refresh list button, which is going to allow you to keep using the follow-up coach. So maybe you've taken care of your task list for the day, you've hit all your assignments. Feel free to jump into the follow-up coach to get some extra work done as well. So we are actually going to move on to covering some next steps. What's next? So quick start videos, as Marvin has been referencing the whole time, other webinars, and just how to contact us in general. So and by the way, during this, if you guys have any questions or comments, now's the time before we wrap up today. I'll show you some next steps here. So everyone in their Top Producer X CRM can click on this top right button. It should be your profile picture if you have set that. Click on this button in the top right, then click on Support Site. Now, this is the best portal to get started with everything support oriented at Top Producer. This is our brand new overhauled Top Producer support page. There's a search right here. You can search for different subjects. Maybe you want to know how to get your Zillow leads into Top Producer 5 Street. Feel free to search for Zillow here. Maybe you'd like to see a whole list of these quick start videos we've been referencing. Well, feel free to click on the video library and just blast through them all if you want, or pick and choose. And I do recommend this as a next step, to go through these videos and touch up on any features or settings that you want to learn more about. So everything from importing contacts, we do have a video specifically for that, using email integration, quick compose button, setting up your MLS credentials, even how to reset your password and things like that. So great video library. We've worked very hard, including myself, on these videos over the past 7 or 8 months or so. There is a getting started guide. Not too important if you have already watched the show today, but great reference point as well. There is also the webinar schedule in the top here. So chances are you may have gotten to the show today via the webinar schedule, but in case you actually follow the link provided by one of our reps or something, this is how you actually find the rest of the webinars. So you'll see here, you're viewing the one right now on February 23rd, getting started. You'll see tomorrow there is actually a show on our Facebook page with Keith, who is our sales director. And he's going to go over some latest updates and talk about task plans and transactions in TPX. So he answers questions there about those features and shows you how to use them. And then on Thursday on YouTube, I'm doing my 4 things you'll want to know after setting up Top Producer X. So that being said, I highly recommend next viewing quick start videos. You can go through them all or view the ones that you think are most relevant to you. Get some practice in there, upload your contacts, and then join me in my Thursday webinar to learn more. That being said, we also have a great new article provided by Christine on our blog. So this is your first 7 days with Top Producer X. So you can find this at hub, like hub.topproducer.com. Great layout here with the blog, tons of different articles to do with our products, as well as just real estate articles in general. So you'll see here your first 7 days with Top Producer X. This is also a great guide to follow if you would like a day-by-day recommendation. So first day, tag your contacts, kind of like I talked about, list your A leads, your buyers, etc. Second day, get to know the follow-up tools using the smart contact list, tabs, follow-up reminders, follow-up coach, of course. Third, service your clients with ease. Make sure you're documenting as much information as possible. 4, build your business with this simple process for leads. So you can see information, social bio built into Top Producer X, pulls in information from social media to learn more about your leads, setting the right statuses, using notes, things like that. And that's going to allow you to get off to a great start with Top Producer X. So that's kind of like your first 7 days with TPX. Great guideline there. Highly recommend that. And then that being said, if you're on our YouTube page, I would say please feel free to like and subscribe. That's going to make sure that you stay on top of all our support videos that we offer, because our YouTube is our support-oriented video page. So please feel free to click the like button if you enjoyed this today. Feel free to subscribe, and then also click the bell icon, which is going to allow you to, like I said, stay notified about new content that we release for Top Producer X from a support perspective. Excuse me. That being said, let me run by the couple different things here really quick. So yeah, like I said, you can subscribe to our YouTube page, our Facebook user group, facebook.com/topproducersoftware. You can then access the group there. Marvin can also link you to that. Like I said, please use the campus page as your hub for success with Top Producer X. Reference it as much as you like. Videos, articles, quick start videos, webinar links. And then, feel free to reach out to our customer care team if you need as well. Once again, live chat support in the bottom right of your Top Producer CRM or any of your Top Producer products for that matter. You can also call us at 1-800-830-8300. Both options available Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. till 4 p.m. in Pacific Standard Time. And you can also email our help desk anytime at support@topproducer.com. Just please allow up to 2 business days for a response there. So guys, that is all we have for today. Once again, this is getting started with Top Producer X, a general overview of all the settings in the Top Producer X CRM, showing you what's most important to set up, why you should set it up, how to get the biggest return on investment from your CRM. So then now you can start taking the next step. So it's up to you guys. Make sure you do your due diligence. You put the money in, and now you have to put a little bit of time in to get this configured. Quick start videos to learn more, import your contacts, use the follow-up coach as much as possible to maintain some consistency in database cleanup. Feel free to join in on my Thursday webinar. Feel free to call in if you like some one-on-one training or assistance. We're always here. This is not a one-off thing. You can definitely reach out as much as you like. We're here for you every step of the way for you and your business. So that being said, guys, once again, this is Spencer with Top Producer, joined by my colleague Marvin in the live chat. Really great to have you guys today, and I hope to see you again on Thursday. So until then, take care.